Welcome to Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. Further clashes in Hong Kong legislature over extradition bill. Malaysia returns Thai asylum seeker to Thailand. Nepal registers bill to curtail powers of Human Rights Commission. Thai activists returned from Vietnam disappeared. Vietnam sees increase in prisoners of conscience. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I'm Alexandra. This week, Just Asia begins with Hong Kong, where clashes occur at the legislature on Tuesday morning over vetting the controversial extradition bill. Democrat Claudia Mo appeared to stumble in the ruckus. Opponents and supporters of the bill have been trying to lead the bill's meeting after a split over the legitimacy of the temporary chairperson of the bill committee, James To. Pan-Democrats took their seats early to ensure James To was in place. When the probation camp arrived at 8:30 a.m., the nominated temporary chair lawmaker, Abraham Sheikh, was prevented from taking over as Democrats and journalists surrounded him. Hong Kong's government proposed amending the extradition law in February to allow the city to handle extradition requests on a case-by-case basis, particularly from China and Taiwan, for which there are no current rendition arrangements. Lawyers, journalists, and business have raised concerns about how the law may put residents at risk of being extradited to China, which has a poor human rights and legal track record. Last Saturday's committee sessions had also ended in a ruckus as rival camps tussled over control of the microphone. Several lawmakers were hurt in the scuffle, including Gary Fan of the Neo Democrats, who was carried out in a stretcher, and pro-Beijing Chen Han-pan, who emerged later with his arm in a sling. Next, in violation of international legal obligations, Malaysian authorities forcibly returned a Thai asylum seeker to Thailand last week. Praphan Pipithnamporn, who was registered as an asylum seeker by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, office in Kuala Lumpur, was repatriated to Bangkok on May 10th. Under customary international law, Malaysia is obligated to ensure that no one is forcibly sent to a place where they would risk being subjected to prosecution, torture, or other serious human rights violation. On April 24th, Malaysian police arrested Praphan at the request of Thai authorities. They sent her back to Thailand based on a Thai arrest warrant issued in January, accusing her of sedition and organized crime for her involvement with the Organisation for Thai Federation, a peaceful anti-monarchy group. Prior to fleeing to Malaysia, Praphan faced intimidation from Thai authorities. She was arrested several times between September and December 2018 and held in incommunicado military detention. Fearing for her safety, Praphan fled to Malaysia in January and applied for refugee status. On April 2nd, the UNHCR registered her claim as an asylum seeker and designated her a person of concern. Since the May 2014 military coup, Thai authorities have aggressively pursued anti-monarchy activists who have fled to neighboring countries, particularly those affiliated with the Organisation for Thai Federation, which the Thai government considers an outlaw group. The Thai government has repeatedly demanded that Malaysia and other governments hand over exiled Thai political activists. Earlier this month, 3 anti-monarchy activists returned by Vietnam were then forcibly disappeared. Moving to Nepal, the government is seeking to curtail the power of the country's National Human Rights Commission. The government has registered a bill in Parliament to amend the NHRC Act 2012 without any consultation with the Commission or concerned stakeholders. The provisions of the bill limit the NHRC's jurisdiction, autonomy, and independence. The bill also contravenes the provisions relating to the NHRC in the country's constitution, the Supreme Court's decision, and the United Nations principles relating to the status of national institutions. The debilitating provisions include the Attorney General's discretionary power to investigate and implement recommendations by the NHRC Article 17A, the government's interviewing role in financial autonomy, Article 18, and the closure of the Commission's Provisional and Contact Office, Article 26(2). Such provisions can only lead to the failure of Nepal's human rights protection system. In Thailand, 3 activists facing charges of insulting the monarchy have disappeared after reportedly being arrested in Vietnam. This is particularly worrying as 2 exiled critics of the military and monarchy turned up dead in January. Their bodies were stuffed with concrete to make them sink in the Mekong River. According to Human Rights Watch, Chuchip Chiwasat, who broadcast political commentary to Thailand from exile, and fellow activists CM Thirawat and Krisena Thaptai were reportedly turned over to Thai authorities by Vietnam on May 8. Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister, Prawit Wongsuwan, however, denied the 3 activists were in Thai custody. London-based Amnesty International said Chuchip had long faced charges of lèse-majesté, or insulting the monarchy. CM and Krisena were also under police investigation for lèse-majesté. Article 112 of Thailand's Criminal Code says anyone who insults the king, queen, heir, or regent faces punishment of up to 15 years in prison. Human rights groups have accused Thailand's ruling military government of applying the lèse-majesté law more widely since the 2014 coup as a way to silence critics. Moving to Vietnam, Amnesty International said at least 128 persons were in jail for expressing their views by the end of March 2019. According to the rights group, there were 97 persons in detention last year, meaning the number of prisoners of conscience in Vietnam has risen by a third over the past year. The persons counted by Amnesty were only those who could be certified, suggesting the number of detainees was likely to be higher. Amid a continuing crackdown on freedom of expression in the country, last year Vietnam's new penal code came into effect, with what Amnesty described as overly broad, unclear, and vague provisions. At least 34 people have already been prosecuted under the revised legislation. Amnesty said activists were charged mostly under Article 117 of the Code, prohibiting anti-state propaganda. Other frequently used provisions include Article 118, which prohibits disrupting national security, and Article 331, which prohibits abusing democratic freedom to violate the interests of the state. According to Defend the Defenders, a Vietnamese human rights network, on May 10, 2 women were found guilty of conducting anti-state propaganda for handing out leaflets last October calling for demonstrations against bills on special economic zones and cybersecurity. One of the women was sentenced to 5 years in prison and the other to 6. That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on this and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.alrc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.